off of there, the shop vac. Turn off the air assist. Turn that off. Looks like we've got, let's move this up to a little higher up. And, well, we could just go up. And let's see what kind of a pattern we got in this thing. Okay. Now we're getting down to some actually filled colors, getting down to what my little old 3.8 watt laser would do. Changed the settings on this particular one, lowered the power ratings, and then the speed, I brought it, dialed it in a little bit. I'm still doing a 0.1 step over, and yeah, move speed, the text is at 20% power, so it's cutting out at 20% power. And then the border is 100% power and a move speed of 5. So I'm sitting there and tap these, and that end's going to come off of there, and the holes is going to come out of there. So let me go ahead and get that done for just a second, and we'll get right back to you. Okay, 12 by 18 inches, run it through the sander to get all the boards equally on this little unit here. Need to watch this guy right here. Need to figure out how to tighten that up or do something to it, because it's just flopping over there in the way. So I don't know if I need to glue it on there, what the story is on it, but I definitely need to get that thing out of the way, because it's flopping over there and getting hung up, and then it's putting a rut in my board. But anyway, so we'll go down here. This is the river, and what I did is I shot it down with some Minwax Clear aerosol lacquer, and I'm getting ready to put some acrylic blue paint over that as soon as it dries just a little bit more. And I had been using a bullseye def or shellac, but it doesn't seal up as well as I like for it to do. I think you got to put about 4 or 5 coats on it, and it says dries in minutes. Well, so does the lacquer. And when it dries up, then I'll shoot some paint in there, and then I'll run it through the sander. So we'll see what happens here. I've got to make 7 or 8 of these at least, and so I'm trying to figure out a good way of doing this. Okay, I ran the heat gun over that just real quick, and it's dry to my touch. I'm going to run this acrylic paint over that, and that just the river, and let her dry. Okay, I painted that with that acrylic latex paint, and I just put it on there a minute ago. I got it down on all of the deals, went over it like maybe twice. Didn't take very long. I'm going to dab it with a t-shirt. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now all I did is blotted that with the t-shirt, the dry t-shirt, blotted it up, and now I'm going to lightly rinse the top of it with water, or with a wet damp t-shirt. All right, it says let it dry for 1 hour between coats. I just warmed it up with a little bit of that, and I'll back in here, and I'll come back in about 45 minutes and see how she's doing. But I got a really pretty good coverage on it. It actually looks like water, and so that's good. And then we'll run that through the sander, and that's the Buffalo River between Ponca and Pruitt. We walked that twice, 25 miles, and so yeah, that's quite a trip. It took us 3 days, and we had 15 to 20 people do it with us, and it was a pretty fun trip. Anyway, so that's the river, and we'll be adding the map and roads in here in just a little bit. All right, there she goes. Now we'll blow it out and see what we get. Okay, that came out really nice. Overall, it's pretty. Everybody said it looks good, so that's good. All right, let's see what she looks like here. 7 highway coming out. All right, there's 2 the map plaques there, and there's 2 more here, 1 more there, maybe 2, and 4 there. And we need to get some of this stuff out of my way so I can get back to work. Alright, keyholed 10 blacks with a nice clean keyhole black. Now I'm decarving the river in, and I'll coat this with some lacquer and get that painted in. I have to run over with a little wire brush when I'm coming in. Fix some toggles with this to hold it down. One on that side, and so I just unloose the toggle and slip them in. Now I'll take a wire brush and go over this right here and get them little bobbers there out of them. And just a soft brass brush. All I'm doing is just going over the river, cleaning out the garbage out of it. And it don't take it a minute, but it makes a big difference. You don't have all that garbage in your river. You know, we want to clean rivers in this state. I'm thankful for we have clean river acts. Okay, cleaned out. We'll put that over on the table with the rest of them, get them ready to seal and then paint. All right, sealed the river. I'll be putting some acrylic on there. I'll probably hit it one more coat. It's just with a spray lacquer that I had. I cut a couple of rattle cans. It didn't have much in it. So I was just getting the bottom out of the cans, and I'll hit them with one more coat. And then it'll be ready to paint in some acrylic. And of course, when I was spraying, I was putting that in there. Using that, you need to use that to protect yourself, because down the road it takes its toll. So there you go. And then when we get that done, we'll move on to finish sanding, and I'll run through the sander one more light coat or one light sanding and get any of that paint off there and get down to just the river, and it gets real crystal clear, and then I'll go in for laser engraving. So okay, after sealing this splotch with lacquer to try and keep the acrylic paint from bleeding into the cedar, I sealed it, you know, about 4 inches wide all the way across there. And then I basically put a big helping of acrylic paint, just a craft paint, some of that blue stuff over on that table. And then I brushed that all in, let it set for a couple minutes, 3 or 4 minutes, and then I went and I just wiped off with a dry t-shirt. And wasn't wet or nothing, just a white t-shirt, and got the bulk of the paint off the top and all around it. And then I went back with another dry t-shirt and just wiped it again, just to get any blobs. So next thing I'll do is, after that dries, I'll run it through the sander and sand it down to a nice crisp blue line, and then I'll put it in the CNC and start my lasering. So I did modify all my laser vectors and got away from a lot of the fills. My text is still filled just to make it bold, but a lot of my trails and stuff are just vector lines, so it's not doing the hatch fill on them, so it makes it a lot faster. Anyway, so there's 6 plus 4, that's 10 maps, and I added a couple trails that were not on there, and added a road, the old 4-wheel drive road that wasn't on there, that I thought, well, we need to put that on there, because that was as much a trail as anything. That thing, being driving that in a 2-wheel drive vehicle, it's 4-wheel drive only. And I thought, I'll never do that again. So I don't know how we got out of there. I don't know how I got out of there. But I had 6 boys in a truck, and Rob was behind us in his Blazer, or he was actually in front of us in his Cadillac Escalade or whatever it was. And that thing was 4-wheel drive, and he was able to get up it. And then I thought, well, I don't think I'm going to get up it, but I'm following him up there. And man, we went up that thing, and it's like, I don't even know how my truck went up that thing. I'd be a little scared of going up it in a 4-wheel drive. But anyway, we did it. We had fun. This old map is taking quite a few metamorphoses from just this first burn of the hardboard. I burnt my laser on there a little bit too dark, made my trails a little too big. My watershed lines are a little too black. So I tweaked them all in. I moved some of my text that was burned up in the middle grounds, and some of the places where the trails overlapped each other 4 or 5 times, there was just one big blob. So I just made them a little wider, so I didn't have to. I mean, what's black on black, right? And I cleaned that trail up a little bit. So I did quite a bit of stuff in the software to get it up to speed. And this little jig here is working good. It's just a 1/4-inch piece of old furniture backing. Actually has walnut on the back side. Of course, it's all skinned up, and it's warped, so it's just a hair. It's not 1/4 inch, probably a hair over. And so I went around that and put the fillets in it, fillets in the corners, and these little toggles. I just use wedges to get to the right height. Put my 2 wedges together, drill a hole, and then on your toggles, I put a washer on the screw so that keeps them from backing up the screws. Whenever you undo it, the washer keeps it from biting in. And I put one on this side, so that's a good tip to remember is the wedges, the door shim wedges. Go up to 3/4 inch almost, and so that pretty well fits. Well, it goes up to 1/2 inch, and then I have a 1/4 inch. So it came up and made a nice tight overlay on that. So you set it to where you can get stuff in there, and then pocket this out or toggle this out, and then it holds down the piece down. I could put another screw over there to keep the wedge from moving, but it really wasn't a factor. Every now and then I'd have to bump it just a tad, but not very often. So anyway, I'm putting that to use and getting that going. Added a little keeper rack on my CNC that allows me to keep everything pushed up towards the front. I kept pushing this stuff up, every time I would vibrate or move, and then all my stuff would come up underneath the lid up here at the top. So when it would come down, because it comes in right here, and so I put that keeper in there, just a couple of brass screws, a little piece of walnut. So I've been refining the machine down, fine-tuning it, getting her going. I need to make a miter gauge bracket over there to keep that from falling over. These things that, you just keep picking up and putting them back where you found them. You get tired of that, and after a while, I just say, okay, it's time to fix that. So that's kind of funny how that works. But anyway, I also found out that little yellow brush with the silicone, I don't remember where I got that at, Grizzly or Menards or somebody, maybe Lowe's. And you know what? That's a dandy. And I just got an old Tupperware deal, poured the glue in there, and I just dab it in there. And then I didn't have glue dripping all over my tables. I had a perfect glue about. Just a little bit of wipe up, but that was a good find. I've always seen them. I don't need that. And anyway, so there it goes. That's some of the good shop business going on. And I did get a couple of slate coasters. I'm going to etch them and see what they look like. They were like $2 at Walmart in their craft section. So ready to paint. Square slate. So not sure what. I think it'll turn white when I laser it. So we'll find out what the settings is and laser something in on that one. So there we go. Wait for that to dry and we'll get back to it. I'm going to go in and work on something for Craig right now. All right, after many sandings, it's etched in there. It didn't sand out as vibrant as the original one was. It may pop more when I put a clear coat over the top of it. But they're not bad. I just had a little bit of bleeding. I think more so. It's the same paint and everything. It made it, I just don't let it dry long enough. But anyway, it came out fine. I mean, it came out all right. And I didn't use my new V-bit with it, so it might have been a little bit rough in some of the cutting. I need to start using my new V-bit, 60 degree. Anyway, there's 9 of them there. One's in there getting cut right now with the laser, and it's going to town in there. All the modifications I added to it, it's now starting to etch all the trailheads, and all that stuff. This one's going to take, it's 40% done, and it's been running for 10 minutes. So about 30 minutes is what this one will run. The first one was 3.5 hours. So yeah, I've been tweaking it in a little bit. Laser runs a lot faster than I thought it was, but it does a good job. And it's going to town, so we'll get to it here in just a little bit.